Who or what are the 144,000? And could you be a part of them? Today, we are going to discover what the 144,000 are, both spiritually and, if you want to take a deeper dive into this, mathematically. My name is Shauna. Welcome. I've been deep in a little bit of research for the past couple of weeks, which is why I've been away. But I'm back now with some very powerful information. Today, I'm going to talk about the 144,000 in depth and show you how we can use sacred geometry to expand our mind. Sacred geometry is the universal language of creation. It's a form of geometry that uses specific ratios that are also found in nature. To learn more about this in general, I highly recommend this book. I'm not going to pronounce the title because I get easily tongue-tied. Or if you want to go online, I recommend The Spiritual Teacher, Jain 108. The most popular example of the number 144,000 is found in the Bible, in the book of Revelation. And there it indicates, if you take that verse literally, that there will be 144,000 faithful Christians who will, after they die, be resurrected to life in heaven. And some groups think that this 144,000 will rule alongside Jesus to help bring justice to earth. Other Christian interpretations believe that 144,000 is just a symbolic number that means a lot of Christians. Over in the New Age, some see the 144,000 as volunteers who have come down from more advanced worlds to help the earth raise its vibration. So the next question is, why 144,000? What is so special about it? Well, number one, it is in all areas of the physical universe. And number two, it has been put into our minds, along with many other different sacred numbers, to sort of make us a little bit curious and edge us towards enlightenment. So, for example, if you see the number 144,000 in the Bible, you might think, okay, well, what would this specific number of people have to do to be different than the masses and to be considered good enough to rule alongside Jesus and God? However, the problem with this theory in both the biblical and the New Age examples is that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are starting to wake up and reach a state of consciousness that could be considered as being enlightened. With that in mind, the power of 144,000 cannot really be found in the religious or the New Age interpretations, but it can be found in mathematics. We live in a mathematical universe, and in maths, algebra, if you want to be specific, everything is a zero-sum game or a mirror. Everything must balance. So as the individual starts to become more enlightened, the rest of the world starts to become more enlightened. So when we start seeing the number 144 or 144,000, we take notice because we are starting to wake up and uncover the hidden messages that are hidden inside of this reality. During a Kundalini awakening, a powerful energy is awakened. This energy travels up through the spinal column, activating the 7 chakras or the energy centers, which raises our frequency. And we leave the lower matrix trap of victim/abuser, that cycle, and we start to become more aware. And the victim and abuse cycle is loosh energy. If you don't know what that is, I speak about it more in these other videos. I will tag them in the description below. And what I discovered during my spiritual awakening was that I realized I was giving too much energy away to the matrix. So matrix relationships and matrix jobs, etc., etc. So during a spiritual awakening, the body realizes that it needs masses of energy to overcome the matrix. And sort of the only way to do this is to have a Kundalini awakening or a spiritual awakening. During the Kundalini awakening, the two energy channels, one side is called the Ida and the other side is called the Pingala. And the flow of prana on the left side, which is the lunar side, is the feminine, and the flow of energy or prana into the right side is the Pingala, which is masculine, just so you know. And that energy travels up the body to meet the third eye, or the pineal gland in the brain. So once the 72,000 nadis, which are subtle energy channels, are brought together, one masculine and one feminine, they combine and go from 72,000 into 144,000 in the third eye. And if we look at the traditional representations of these channels, the third eye is represented by 144 petals, and the crown is represented by the number 1,000. So when we multiply the crown and the third eye together, we get the number 144,000. 144 and 144,000 are just different ways of saying that the masculine and feminine energy inside of the body have unified and that you are now enlightened. So always remember that 144,000 is not a number of starseed people or religious people that are chosen. Enlightenment is something that is dormant inside everyone. It's just a matter of how many veils are placed over an individual's consciousness that dictates how awakened they are. People who are going through a spiritual awakening have removed the sort of like the double-sided veil that is placed over both the individual's energy centers, the chakras, and the veil that is placed over society. These covers are, on one level, are sort of protective or shields that protect us when we are in survival mode. But once we awaken and we go through the pain of spiritual awakening, we realize that these shields are barriers that are stopping us from connecting to our conscious body. To further reinforce what I have said, all of this stuff is sort of like spiritual woo-woo energy prana, stuff like that. It's not just a spiritual concept. It can also be found in mathematics and in music and in the human body. Because like I said before, the universal language is mathematics and it's numbers. And what I've done is I've made this sketch on all of the information and all of the research that I've done into light code 144. If you want to go even deeper into this, like I said, go and read this book or go and research Jain 108. But I've condensed it down to this sort of like simplified sketch to make it easier for you to digest. So let's get into the voiceover. In Greek, we have the word theos, which means God. It's where we get the word theology, which is the study of God. There is also something called gematria, which is the Greek word for geometry. So if we connect letters with numbers in English, A would equal 1, B would equal 2, C would equal 3, and so on. In Greek, TH would equal 9, E would equal 5, O would equal 70, and S would equal 60. which gives us the divine sum of 9 plus 5 plus 70 plus 60, which is 144. Similarly, in ancient religions, such as the Babylonian Semites, their name for God was Abram. This is connected to the Hindu god in India. Their god of creation is Brahma, and the word Abram has a gematria of A equals 1, B equals 2, R equals 100, A equals 1 again, and M equals 40, which also gives us the sum of 144. When we look at the circle, which is the shape of life, and we turn it into a decagon, all of the angles inside of the circle are 144 degrees. Each of the 10 triangles which make up the decagon, they're called golden triangles, and they are based on the golden pi ratio, meaning this 144 degree angle is essential to establishing fractals and structures that are based on the divine proportions of nature. If you look at a cross-section of DNA under the microscope, it is also a decagon, so that directly connects us to the rest of the universe. In harmonic maths, the ley lines around the earth reveal the accurate positioning of sacred sites and temples. And it teaches us that the speed of light is 144,000 nautical miles per second. Nikola Tesla discovered free energy using this sacred code. His work was highly suppressed, and one of the things he did was create a special antenna that was precisely 6.944 feet, and it allowed a car to operate without fuel. This is because the reciprocal, or the reverse of 144 as a fraction, when you do the divisions, is 0.0069444, which gives us, when you slide the decimal points along and remove all the zeros, the harmonic, which is a mathematical musical expression of the number 144. I hope you can see the connection there. So 144 is a number that could potentially, if this knowledge wasn't so suppressed, give us free energy. Imagine that, what that would do to the British economy at the moment in the energy crisis. The famous flower of life contains 90 petals, and the spaces in between these petals forms what is known as negative spaces, or these curved triangles. There are 54 of them, giving us a total, when we put it together, of 90 plus 54, which is 144. The flower of life is an array of the Vesica Pisces, which are intersecting circles that relates to Mary Magdalene, the mother. It also relates to the woman's reproductive system, or the matrix, the matter X. The masculine of the flower of life is man, or the body, the lesser universe. The smaller universe is represented by the pentagram, the head, the two arms, and the two legs, the number 5. So the pentagram has inner angles of 72 degrees. And 2 times 72, again, is 144, which is life. So even in the pentagram, when we alter it, can be one of the most negative satanic symbols, it still relates to the magical number of 144. The planet Mercury is connected to Hermes, the god of light, whose ankle is symbolically feathered to represent this. In the ancient Vedic texts, the symbolism of flight is suggested by spacecrafts and UFOs. And it says that they could reach the speed of light. In these texts, the propulsion system that the extraterrestrials used to achieve this speed was based on Mercury. Modern physics tells us that the specific gravity of the element of Mercury is 14.4. Also, think about the astrology of Gemini, which is represented by the planet Mercury. Some of the traits of Gemini is to be quick. They're quick thinkers, they're quick-witted, they're quick with their tongues. So just another sort of connection that can be made with speed. In Genesis, the Bible tells us that creation happened in 6 days, and on the 7th day, God rested. In 6 days, there are 144 hours. 144 also relates to the Jewish high priests' breastplates that they wore at around the time of Christ. And on these breastplates, there were 12 crystals. And it was based on the imagery found on a Bactrian coin from King Asus in 120 BC. On these coins, when you blow them up, there is the Pythagorean triangle, which is based on the ratio of 3:4, which is how we get to 12, if you remember Pythagoras from school. And when you look at the shape, it is made up of 3 Pythagorean triangles. And when you add these triangles up, the sum is 144. And these crystals that these priests wore sat on their heart chakra. And only the highest and most esteemed priests could wear these breastplates. And it was considered to be a lie detector. And it also connects to higher levels of astronomy and the rest of the universe. In the Bible, there is the New Jerusalem in Revelation chapter 2. It says, I saw the holy city and the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with men. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. And then it goes on, and it's a very beautiful description of God almost becoming one with his people. And in the New Jerusalem, King Solomon was going to build his new temple of crystals. And it was all based on 144 cubits. I will leave the Bible verse here for you to go and research it for yourself. And the cube of Jerusalem almost filled up the whole earth, but it was in cube form. So the Bible talks about a celestial city that is based on 144. So as you can see, this number 144 is a reflection that is in all different areas of nature and in the universe. If you want all of the notes from this video, you can join my YouTube members or my Discord from as little as £3, I think it is. And I will give you access to my secret Discord group, which has the document posted. If not, that's fine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to talk more about sacred geometry. Thank you so much for your support as always, and I will see you all next time.